Real life military. Today we will be talking about what a gynocentric world is. So, in my last video, when I was talking about a fresh start, towards the end, I started talking about expressing emotions and how to do that, and how in the modern day we are told that we need to express our emotions. But what does that mean? Like telling a boy or a man, like what is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to think? Is it okay? And how will it help him to express his emotions? So when you think about emotions, the first one is anger. So you want to express his anger or sadness or or fear. You want him to show that he's afraid. So if you had a husband or a dad or a leader and they were expressing their emotions. So if your leader or your father or your husband is just expressing his emotions that he's angry, how is that helpful? Even if it's just a flash and something that you can control, I think that's a good thing. If you're afraid, I think sometimes it's okay. Everybody gets afraid, but once you realize how everything is going, you don't need to express those emotions, do you? Like, do you just want them to whine and cry and moan and bitch about the world? I don't know. Express your emotions. Also, that controlling your emotions is a bad thing. Like, you're trying to, we get told that we're repressing our emotions, that's a way of the past. That you hear stories from men and women talking about their mean dads that used to be angry or spank them, because you don't spank kids anymore. Spanking kids is bad. You don't spank kids anymore. That that their dads never cried. They never saw their dads cry, implying that if you don't express your emotions the way that they deem is correct, that you're a bad man. But I believe that the most dangerous man in the world is a man who can't control his emotions. Think about men that can't control their emotions. I think of criminals, um, addicts, alcoholics, school shooters, people that beat on women. Those men can't control their emotions. And a lot of them come from the same place. Like, they have the same symptoms, these men that can't control their emotions, usually from single parents, poor, and just not a lot of, not a very good upbringing or very good role models. But this gynocentric world, it is the meaning for this gynocentric world refers to a society or culture that focuses primarily on prioritizing and revolving around women and their perspectives, interests, and needs. This concept is in contrast of our patriarchal society, where men hold all the power and authority. In a gynocentric framework, women's experiences, contributions, and roles are given significant attention and value. I think that's pretty straight. And, like, really think about that. So, does our world primarily revolve around women? Like, I think that the US for sure has like the 70% of the debt is by women. So that's advertising right there. So like cosmetics and all that stuff is like a $2 billion industry. Like, there's a lot of it. And if you can't see it, just think of like media and entertainment. And if you still aren't there, then think about movies. I think it's the easiest way. So the first time I really thought about this was, um, I have a 8-year-old daughter, and when she was growing up, I thought it was so cool that she had all these movies like Frozen and Moana and Brave, and these strong, super strong role models. But then I had my son, my 3-year-old son, and he has nothing. There are zero, no strong like male roles at all. When I was growing up, they had plenty, but now they're all gone. And I was just like, holy crap. And then you start looking at that through everything, and just you just realize that even TV shows, like even way back, they're still the same. Like men are usually like dumb and fat and late. Like think of The Simpsons. Like like that's what it is. Like, and then beyond kids shows, it's easy thing to think of that messed up. It's something that's been going on for the 80s now is Star Wars, right? Look how the first movies, male strong leads. Then you had Leia, pretty cool, but still a woman. And then to the new movies that have totally destroyed Star Wars, and it's just so woman strong and race baity and stuff like that. It's just that like white man bad kind of thing, and men bad in general. Like that's when you realize that we are in a gynocentric world, and if you think about it, it's going to be really hard to not see it anymore. Once you start thinking about this, you'll see it everywhere, and it's crazy. And even when I talk with my wife or other women in my life, it's not what you say, it's how you said it. It's like, what? It's like, or act like I'm trying to, like, I'm going to be aggressive. It's like, what are you talking about? We've been married for almost 10 years. Like, relax. That I'm being aggressive or I'm being too loud or too much bass in my voice. It's like, no, you can't talk like that. When you talk like that, I can't hear you. It's like, so what do you want me to talk to? Talk like me. So talk like a woman. Like, I'm not going to talk like a woman. I'm not going to hurt you. And I'm not going to raise my level up unless you talk or something else is loud. I can talk like this and still be fine. Like, I don't get loud or try to manipulate or like bully or anything like that, but I'm not going to talk like a woman because that's just not how, like, I shouldn't have to change what I'm doing because that's what has been the social norm. Like what is that teaching? Yeah, so you're going to teach boys and men that they need to communicate like women or girls. Like you don't see any, there won't be any good in that ever. Like men, the way that men, like masculinity is not a bad thing and femininity is not a bad thing. But you should teach like being stoic is a okay, is fine. Like that's like deemed a bad thing. And stoicism is a school of thought originated from Greece, like Marcus Aurelius and all that. It emphasizes virtue, reason, and importance of accepting things beyond your control. That sounds great, right? There are things that you cannot control, and that is fine. But things that you can control, thinking about it reasonably and visualizing negatives or losses, contemplating on those, and then just appreciating what you have. It's like having discomfort and training yourself to go through that discomfort and conquer those hardships. It's your the first reaction of your loved ones when you're going through something hard is to make it easy and tell you that you don't need to do it. But to be stoic means that you voluntarily put yourself in those discomfort and you will grow. Like if things are hard, you'll get hard. That's just how it is. Like you will get better, you will get through it. And then reflecting on those experiences and those lessons, that's basically how to be stoic. But usually it's let's talk about it. Let's talk about it and then just talk about it and talk about it, and there's no getting better. But the differences between men and women is they are pretty huge. And people get confused, and it is just, I think, blatant lies that like masculinity is just a bad thing and that you need to, like, empathy and sympathy and all of that is just, it gets mixed up because people think that they are sympathetic people. Like people always get told that they're like sympathetic. It's like, do they even know that they're empathetic? But do you even know the difference? And most people don't. And even if you like Google, a simple Google search, it's empathize means to understand and to share the feelings, thoughts, or experiences of another person. Okay. Sympathy means to share the feelings of pity or sorrow or compassion for someone else. So both of those are about the same, but empathy is empathizing with that person. I believe that there are some people that you cannot empathize with. Some people just can't. People that come from different backgrounds, it's hard to empathize with the other person. I think a lot of people they confuse sympathy with empathy. And now I'm going to go into something else with I thought it was hilarious when I was just I just stumbled upon this, but we're going to look at differences because this is a lot of the gynocentric world is just a difference between the sexes, right? So I just put in simple searches and I wanted to go with men and women. So I put the most common traits of weak men. It's lack of confidence, responsibility, fear, um, being passive, lack of integrity, emotional dependence, lack of assertiveness, poor communication skills. And it was the exact same thing. Like the women was the exact same thing. And I was like, you know what? Maybe, maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe it's not a gynocentric world where, because I was thinking that this would show that, like, I'm counting the internet as media, like that it would be skewed. So then I was like, you know what? I'll try something else. I'll try what do dangerous men have in common? So when I did that, it was manipulative behavior. And it said to manipulate others to achieve all these different goals. Lack of empathy, to show little or no empathy for others. Cool. That's bad, right? Lack of empathy. And then not only that, it says which allows them to harm or exploit. So to not just to show no empathy, but to exploit. And it went on to aggressiveness. And it said this can manifest. So when it says men, it said this can manifest into aggressive or verbal hostility, bad. Narcissism, which is a dangerous man may display narcissistic tendencies like entitlement, belief that they're superior, bad, bad, bad. Charm and charisma. This is dangerous men have in common, right? Charm and charisma. This may pose this may pose that charm and charisma can lead into manipulation and to deceive others into trusting them. That's bad, right? And then risk taking behavior. You know what? I should just put this on the screen over here. So you're not just looking at me go through this. Hold on. I wonder if I have the right screen here. Sweet. And all right. And it's too small. Hold on. Crap. I can't. All right. Maybe if I do this. Hold on. We're doing it live. We're doing it live. Awesome. All right. Here we go. Okay. And can I put a little picture of myself up here? Here we go. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. Here we go. Sorry. And this, at this point, I'm just fucking around. All right. But it is true, man. It is freaking true. All right. Here we go. So, all right. Where are we at? To deceive others. Cool. Risk taking behavior, endangers people, just bad stuff, right? So then now I'm going to go to what dangerous women have in common. Dangerous women have in common. All right, look at this. This is where the psyop is right here. So dangerous women have in common strong belief in themselves and ability which can intimidate others. That seems like a plus. Independence, self-reliant, don't rely on others. A plus. And this is what dangerous women have in common. Ambition, intelligence, fearlessness, assertiveness, charisma, adaptability, passion, resilience, and not one bad thing said about it. Now, just to reflect, we'll go back to dangerous men. It says to manifest like assaulting people, like manipulating people, like this is where the psyop is. Okay, so what are some things that real like when you think of a dangerous woman, you know, I don't know, but confidence, independence, ambition, intelligence, like all of those things are good things. So this is the gynocentric world right here. This is the first thing that popped up. So the very same thing I put for men, all bad stuff, super manipulative stuff, super bad stuff, right? When you put women in there, all good things, super weird. So I was like, okay, you gotta try this again. So then I put successful men, and it was basically the same stuff, but just a little difference. But the one that popped up to me was it said emotional intelligence for women. And a lot of people get this all the time with this emotional intelligence, that women are more emotionally intelligent. I believe they actually are. But what people believe emotional intelligence it's just kind of weird. So I didn't even think that there was a definition, but the same place I got this bullshit, I got this one too, right? So it says emotional intelligence refers to the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and effectively express one's emotions. Cool, yeah. And then it says that either you recognize emotions, which I agree, women can recognize, they're more socially adept because when women are girls into teenagers and all that, they get a lot of attention and they talk like they get a lot of attention, so they talk more to people and they have to pick up these social cues to keep themselves safe and stuff. While men, we just mob around and we don't really worry about things because that is just that's just how it is, in our patriarchal horrible place that we live in, right? Um, so it says understanding emotions. Yes, I think women understand emotions way better than men. And this is what I'm saying. They said that women have this more than men, which I agree. But then it goes to managing emotions, harnessing emotions, and empathizing. I don't think so. I think men are better at all of those things. But it's not all men and all women, but I think on a scale, I think men are better usually at that. And when going back to the gynocentric world, it it is a little different because this is just the pendulum swinging one way to the other. Like it's just how it is, just like Republican Democrats, like men have been in power since day one. Like like patriarchy has always been told it's a bad thing, but name one matriarchy that's lasted this time. Like there isn't one that actually took over and had any time really, because they got wiped out because of patriarchy. So that's just the way it is, right? But this should just start thinking about the gynocentric world that we live in. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm not. But to teach men to demonize one sex or the other isn't the thing that we should be doing. Like men are needed, women are needed, but men should be men and women should be women for a standard. If we're going to teach one thing, that's the way it is. For like 50% of the world, even most of the world. Like if you want to do something else, that is fine. If men want to be feminized and do all that, or if women want to go out and make money and be all masculine, that's fine too. But teaching teaching men and boys that they need to just not have no emotional control is a very dangerous thing. And you are creating, all of us are creating dangerous men, and dangerous men are the worst men in the world. So being stoic, taking care of your emotions is something that you should be trying to do. And you will have to find other ways to show men how to be men, because they're going to be taught in schools, and the whole world is going to feminize men, and it's happening all the time. I walk around and I see men that can't even talk, that can't even look you in the eyes. I was one of those men that it took me a long time to learn how to control my emotions, because I just didn't. I just I was one of those cases where I had things in my life that, well, number one, my biological father was not there. So the first 10 years was just my mom doing the best that she could. And men that aren't around other men or that have role models, like thank God that I had my stepdad and sports and all that stuff to help me control my emotions. And I think being stoic, I can take care of more people in my life. And the more stoic men that we have out there, men that can actually control their emotions, they can take care of more people in the world. So understand that you do live in a gynocentric world, and that's the way that it is, and it's not going to change. But understanding and doing something about it, that will be the difference.